Good morning. I left you a gay bachelor and now I'm an old married man. Kathy sends greetings and she's preparing space for me as we speak. We come today as the Unitarian Universalist Church of Tampa to be about the celebration of life, to look at the hard questions, to look at the good questions, to be about reckoning with ideas that can lift us and bless us, and looking honestly at where we are in the world as individuals and as a community. Many of us are here for first or second time, or third or fourth time, and some here, well, we don't want to count how many times some of you have been here. That takes us back to in time quite a ways. We light our chalice this morning to recognize the light that bears in every soul, that brings us truth from the ages, that touches and lifts the darkness. So be at home here. We hope you can make it where it is what you need, which is a community of welcome, affirmation, and commission. Today's theme is Peace Day. And I'm blending a lot of different holidays and ideas. November the 11th is Veterans Day. How many of in here are veterans? Stand up. Stand up. Stay standing. Stay standing. How many are mates of veterans? How many are married to a veteran? How many of you have children that are veterans? Thank you. This is fodder for our future discussion, okay?
Now is the time for our meditation. Feel free to sit back, relax, close your eyes if you wish, and we'll have a brief moment of silence after the meditation. For our meditation today, let us open our minds and hearts to the place of quiet, to the silent prayer for the healing of pain and the soft, gentle coming of love. I invite you to relax, get comfortable, close your eyes, and breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, relax, breathe out. Give yourself love, kindness, and peace. Breathe in, breathe out. Give yourself support, forgiveness, and peaceful thoughts. Breathe in, breathe out. Think of the people around you. Send them loving, kind, and peaceful thoughts. Send them support and forgiveness. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Relax. May you be well and have peace in the upcoming week. Namaste.
Before we get into the meat of the matter, there's some home cleaning that we need to do. I want to thank everyone who was here Saturday working on the grounds. We're getting daylight out there, and it's really nice. And some of those folks, I should have gone and helped them, but they were looking pretty fatigued, and I didn't want to get fatigued. But it's really making a difference, guys and gals, so thank y'all for that. And I want to thank everyone who found our, yes. And if you haven't noticed our banner, have you seen the blue banner? Take a look. We're the people of the dome. That testifies it right there. Take a look at it, get close to it, because it's really intricate and it's really beautiful. And you might even find your hometown there if you look close enough, if you're from Florida. I have a prayer that's a reworking of an elder minister who I did know back in the day when I first started. I'm owning the fact that I am influenced so greatly by the World War II generation. And it's a sort of an aging thing, I guess, to sort of try to understand my identity through my parents. And I've been doing some reading on aging. I think most of us could write the textbook in here, but some of us could. And the idea that we know who we are through the stories that have been given to us. And the idea of story making is as ancient as human community. To know who we are, where we came from, what we do as human beings related to the ancestors. I participated in the Cups gathering last night, which is a wonderful event for me to go to get a little spiritual sustenance. To look at the nature of the world and world in nature, to be about appreciating the context, the possibility, the images that we can create in our own mind to give us some peace, but also to give us some anxiety. So here's the story. Here's the prayer. At a time of world upheaval, when all things are called into question, it is well that we should search our hearts and know what faith we hold, and whether it can shape the present miseries toward a happier future. Many beliefs, once confidently held, have crumbled with the coming of the present age. Others are failing now before the fury of the storm. To cling to their belief means trusting the ineffectual. We hold building the future with worn-out creed. We cannot build the future with worn-out creeds, nor can we build it out of emptiness and disbelief. We need a faith that truth reckons with an age of transformation. We need a faith that truly reckons with an age of transformation, that knows the inner meaning of events, that sees hope for humanity within the present tragedy and loss, a hope to sustain, to lift, and to guide. The pagan calendar sees November as the time of the year transitioning. The old year is fading down. We're ready for something new with winter solstice. It's sort of logical. It's sort of logical. We have these dark, dark days coming when all the colors are being dropped. We're going to have a cool spell, they say, by Tuesday. So we're going to get out of this 88-degree weather in the middle of November to something else. Psychologists and teachers and researchers find that the human psyche and the human spirit is really affected by this. That in moving into the future, we take inventory. We reckon with what we've lost. We've reckoned with ideas that didn't make it. Choices that didn't bless, they cursed us a little bit more. But then there's the other side. There's the other side. There's the beginning that's coming. Religions, spiritual disciplines, psychology, philosophy even, find ways to describe that will be valid for us in our struggles. Now, the prayer that I read to you talked about the old creeds not making it anymore. Where we're post-tradition. We're into something new. This is the story I want you to hear. On the way back Monday and Tuesday from Huntsville, Alabama, I was sort of listless. I've been on the road too many hours. I'm going, I need something. I need a rest. What can I do? And I remembered that once upon a time, in an age of 6 years ago, I'd gone to Plains, Georgia, when Jimmy and Rosalind were still alive. And I imagined sitting at his table at that little cafe there. So I said, okay, Doak, government is shut down. There probably won't be anything there, won't be anybody there, but you can go through a ghost town. Because I'm coming right after Halloween, why not? Jim and Rosalind may still be walking down there. So I took a sidetrack and went over, and I was right, I wasn't disappointed. The place was dead, except for a few of the shops. Few of the shops that opened the door to nostalgia and remembering. And they had a lot of stuff I could have bought, but I bought me a kid's book. How many know Golden Books? They got one on Jimmy. It's a fanciful story, but it's a story. Maybe he won't be forgotten, and maybe the historians among us will, make sure we research his real life and see what he was. Because I will attest from my spiritual understandings, he was a saint in our times. He and Rosalind both. He owned his failures. He owned his moral confusion, but he spoke the truth as well as a politician can and get elected to office. Now, are you compromising, Doak? What is this? No, I'm trying to say that we're living in a world that is harsh and mean. And there are lights that come along. Jimmy Carter was one of them. He imagined a world that could be. Because of his biblical background, he was able to talk to the Muslims and the Christians and the Jews and get them to sit down because he knew the stories. He knew the blood hate of the Arabs and the Jews. He knew the impossible conflict of people wanting the same land that everybody had a right to. Now imagine us dealing with the Seminoles this morning coming in and saying, get the heck out of here. Y'all don't own this place. Our ancestors' bones are all over this place. What gives you a right? The right of conquest. Well, Jimmy imagined a world there where people could sit down and figure it out. Silly man. Silly man. I mean, he got out and drove nails the rest of his life, building for Habitat for Humanity. He set up a research center that looked at the impact of disease on children, voting irregularities around the world. He gave peace a chance. Peace Day was established in 1981 by the United Nations. Did you know that? September the 21st, first day of fall. All kinds of wonderful imagery there. You're going into a reflective time. You're going into a pondering time. What is the ideal we need? What is the dream we need realized as we sleep through the winter? We need to imagine come spring a new chance. We need to move through Veterans Day to say thank you for these people who gave themselves, stood up, drafted, or volunteered. I don't care. But they said, go send me. I don't care about the ideology. I'm talking about that individual. I'm talking about your daddy and my daddy and uncles and kids and ourselves who took a oath of allegiance to the Constitution of the United States, not an individual, to defend the ideals of a liberal democracy. Peace Day. What does Peace Day look like September 21st? Well, you have some parades and you talk peace and you sell a few things. I don't know if I said this out loud, but I tried to find decorations for Veterans Day. They don't have any. They're already moving into Christmas and Thanksgiving. I called 3 places. So all you've got is my decoration from my old field jacket that has Veterans for Peace on the corner and my chaplain's crosses, because I don't see a contradiction. I see faith being in the trenches always to say, I don't know why we're here. I don't know why the forces of humanity have pushed us into this, but there's got to be a better way. Your sacrifice of blood is not to be honored, but it is to be remembered. Your loss of your innocence as a 17, 18, 19-year-old who had to live the rest of your life with the image of the blood and destruction you saw needs to be recognized. So Peace Day is an opportunity for thank yous and for recognition that the wonder of the world is that we keep at it. We just keep coming back. Now we're to a point since 1945 with the atomic bomb of us being able to kill it all. That may be in the cards. We may be stupid enough to go that way. There's a lot of indication there's some people who just aren't aware. You talking about being awoke, and you talking being by sleep. If you feel like you're sleepwalking, you are, because everybody else is asleep. International Day of Peace. In 1919, President Wilson established through Congress Armistice Day for the United States. I'm sort of connected with the British and the European Unitarian groups, and they're taking on Armistice Day, November the 11th, Veterans Day for us. They're all taking on with open arms. There's celebrations all over the place. There's red, white, and blue everywhere. Because they stood under the fire of the Blitzkrieg. They lost children, women, men to constant bombing every night. I knew people who survived it. You may do too, or did. They were heroes because they just kept going back. Well, we got to live somewhere, Doak. We live here. We'll send our kids to Ireland and Scotland, and we'll lose living with them for 2 or 3 years. Imagine that. Imagine how destruction and evil and disagreement affect us psychologically and spiritually. It cripples our souls. It wounds our hearts. So what are you going to do with all that? Just go over and die? Find a way to be stoned all the time? That's been choices for too many. But we're sane, logical, rational human beings. We must see the lesson here. It's about keeping the faith. It's about saying again, next year, Jerusalem. It's about saying, let's talk about this. Isn't there a way out of this? Now that sounds so counterintuitive right now. Our own politicians that we elected and we observe can't find a way to make it work. And everybody's right and everybody's wrong. Well, I'm making myself depressed talking about it. So I'm going to read my Jimmy Carter book and remember that he was around, and Miss Roslyn was around, and Dorothy Day was around, and Helen Keller was around, And the teachers and spiritual giants that we have as our ancestors pushed and stayed in the struggle. I about decided I'm a Zoroastrian. Just a fight of evil and good. And I've got to lean myself into the fight with the good. And I hate that because psychologically, thought-wise, I'm a peacenik. I hate war. I watched my daddy's struggle with post-traumatic stress syndrome from World War II. We didn't know what it was then. So I suggest that on Tuesday or this afternoon or whenever you get a chance to give yourself 2 or 3 minutes to just find words of thanks. To your kinfolk, to people you've never even heard of, who've been a part of the peace machine, the peace contraption, the peace apparatus that pushes against the worst aspects of our nature to find the better angels of our nature. Julia Ward Howe had the idea in 1870. Good Unitarian leader, wrote Battle Hymn of the Republic, remember, 1870? She wanted a Mother's Peace Day. She figured if mothers get into the action, they'd take care of it because they ain't going to send their sons to no silly wars. That didn't work out too well, did it? But maybe we do that again today. I can argue that the Vietnam War was ended after all those body bags got on TV. But that's another day for another time. Peace be our watchword, hope be our guide, and love be our apparatus. What does love mean? Good, the golden rule applied, one-on-one and throughout culture. May it be so. Amen. Closing words. This is Civil Air Patrol, beautiful. Civil Air Patrol is an auxiliary of the U.S. Army Air Force and the new Space Force. It's a voluntary organization from kids from 13 to 90. If you're willing to volunteer and help with education around flying, or going to the moon, or working with character development. One of the things they do since 1940, when they watched out for submarines and found one on each coast that were coming from the adversaries, Civil Air Patrol has been a part of the subculture of volunteer organizations in the country. There's no money involved. It's all volunteer, and they make you buy these fancy uniforms. So that's what I wanted to share with you. Go in peace and love, and may the ideals that we talk about be made real in our own lives. Be nice to yourself. Forgive yourself. You got sleep to do for the next six weeks, 2 months, but come back come spring, okay? Blossom up and say, what's next and how do I get there? Do it holding hands. Amen.